Hi students, welcome to video lecture on elementary level of English communication as part of pre-placement training program. This is Vidhya, placement coordinator of Phase 2 campus, Dr. MGR Educational and Research Institute. Parts of speech. This is the basic building block of English language. They are the basic types of words and they explain the way the words can be used in various contexts or situations. There are 8 parts of speech, and we should learn the parts of speech to recognize the type of word and the function it is serving, and to also use the right word at the right place. Let's look into the 8 parts of speech now. So as I told you, these 8 parts of speech are the pillars of English language. They are nouns, pronouns, adjectives, verbs, adverbs, prepositions, conjunctions, and interjections. So the first part of speech is noun. Noun is a naming word. It names a person, place, thing, any living creature, a quality, or an action. So as you can see the examples, it can be any name: theater, box, table, chair, tree, arrival, departure. Everything comes under noun. And as you can see in the example, Mrs. Mehta believes in kindness. So Mrs. Mehta is a name and kindness is an action. So these all come under noun. The second part of speech is pronoun. Pronoun is used instead of a noun to avoid repeating the noun word again and again. Examples are I, you, he, she, it, we, and they. So as you can see, instead of repeating Mrs. Mehta again and again in all the sentences, we write Mrs. Mehta only one time, and then every time the sentence follows, we just write she. So Mrs. Mehta believes in kindness. She will look after needy and poor. So the next part of speech is verb. Verb is a word which describes an action that's doing something, or a state of being something. Examples are walk, talk, think, believe, live, like, and want. So Mrs. Mehta believes in kindness. Here Mrs. Mehta and kindness, as we saw, will come under noun, and believes is a verb here. Next is adjective. Adjective is a word that explains more about a noun or a pronoun. It tells you something about the noun. That is big, yellow, some colors, or thin, thick, tall, short, amazing, beautiful, quick, important. These all come under adjective. Example, Mrs. Mehta is a kind lady. So kind is an adjective here. Next is adverb. A word that adds value to a verb or gives more information about a verb is said to be an adverb. It tells you how something is done. It may also tell you when or where something happened. So as you can see, the examples can be slowly, quickly, intelligently, well, yesterday, today, tomorrow, here, there, everywhere. It all comes under adverb. So Mrs. Mehta will come tomorrow. Tomorrow is an adverb here. Next part of speech is conjunction. Conjunction, it joins two words, phrases, or sentences together. Examples: but, so, and, or, because. It all comes under conjunction. So Mrs. Mehta believes in kindness and loyalty. So and is actually conjuncting kindness and loyalty together. So that and is a conjunction here. Next is preposition. Preposition describes the connection between other parts of speech, like nouns, pronouns, verbs, etc. in a sentence. Prepositions examples will be on, in, by, under, above, over. Example. So Mrs. Mehta believes in kindness. So in is a preposition here. So prepositions can be used for place and time. This is prepositions of place. So on is on the surface. It's touching one point of the surface. Above is above the surface. It's on top of the surface, but it's not actually touching. It's just hovering over the surface. Over is completely covering the surface. In front of is in front of the surface of the object. Beside is next to the object or the surface. Below is below the object. It's opposite of above. It's below the object, but it's not touching. Under is completely covering the surface, and behind is behind the object. So here are some of the examples of prepositions of place. So there is a cup on the table. So cup is just somewhere on the table, so you say on the table. The plane is hovering above the house. So it's not touching the house, it's hovering, so it is above the house. He stood in front of the door and rang the bell. Ram sat beside Albert in the meeting. So next to Albert, so you say beside. So he kept the key under the paper. So key is entirely under the paper, so you say under the paper. Next is prepositions of time. So at, first one is at. You use at with times. So at 9 o'clock, at 2:15, at midnight, at morning, afternoon, lunchtime, Christmas, at the moment, at the age of. These all come under prepositions of time. So example, Aarti reached home at 8 p.m. You should not say in or on, you should say at. So when do you use on? We use on with dates and days. So on 12th of March, on Friday morning, on Sunday afternoon, on Christmas Day. Please note, when you're saying day, you say on Christmas Day. When you're saying just Christmas, you say at Christmas. So example, we watched a movie on Saturday night. Next is in. We use in for longer periods of time. That is in April, in 1986, in winter, in summer, in 19th century, in the mornings or in the afternoons, plural, in the evenings. So these all come under in preposition of time. And the internet session will end in a few minutes. So this is an example of in. Next is during. So you use during plus noun to say when something happens. That is during the film, during our holiday, during the night. These all come under during example. So we met a lot of interesting people during our holiday. Next is for. We use for plus a period of time. That is for 6 years, for 2 hours, for a week. So they have been painting for 2 hours. So this is an example of for. From and to. We use from and to say beginning and end of a period. So last evening it rained heavily from 6 to 9 o'clock. So here are some more examples of preposition of time. He has coffee in the morning, tea in the afternoon, and wine in the evening. I was very popular during my college days. Can we meet at 6 p.m.? We had fun on Rahul's birthday. The clock strikes 12 at midday, noon, or midnight. Terrorists are responsible for all the destruction. The economics class will run from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. College will reopen on this Monday. So the last part of speech is interjection. Interjection are words which communicate emotions like happiness, sadness, or shock. They always followed by explanation marks. Example, ouch, hello, hooray, oh my god, oh no. So these all come under interjection. Oh, Mrs. Mehta is no more. That is an example of interjection. Next we're going to see about article. So what is the use of article? It is used to introduce a noun or adjective and to clarify if a noun is specific or not specific. We'll see examples for that. Basically, there are two kinds of articles. Indefinite articles. They are a and an. They are used for non-specific nouns. Definite article is the. It's used for specific nouns. So the three articles are a, an, and the. So when do we use a or an? When it is not important which noun it's being referred to. So an orange on the table, so it can be any orange. We're not specifically pointing to one particular orange, so you can say an orange on the table. When it is unknown to the noun, it's being referred to. That is a letter in the mailbox. So it can be any letter. So you can say A. An is used before the five vowels A, E, I, O, U, and A is used before consonant, all alphabets except vowels. They are used before a singular noun. They can never be used for plural or uncountable nouns. So A and an can also be used when you're talking about your profession. I am an English teacher. I am a writer. When do we use the? When the listener knows about the particular person or thing. Example, did you lock the drawer? The can be used before singular as well as plural nouns if it is specific. Example, the bread you ate was rotten. The cakes you brought were really good. So when you've already mentioned the thing you're talking about, so you can say she's got two children, a girl and a boy. The girl is 8 and the boy is 14. So you should not say a girl is 8 and a boy is 14 because you've already referred to a girl and a boy in the first sentence. So in the second sentence, when you've already mentioned, the next time you mention, you can say the. So you use the before names of rivers, oceans, seas, geographical points on the globe, geographical areas, that is the west, the far east, southern west. So you can use the before deserts, forests, gulfs, peninsulas. Certain nouns when we know there's only one of a particular thing. So there's only one rain, one sun, one wind. So you can say the rain, the sun, the wind, the world, the earth, etc. The is pronounced as the only when it is used before a vowel. The aeroplane. Do not use the before names of countries like India. Exception, the Netherlands and the United States of America. Do not use the before names of cities, towns or states. You cannot say the Maharashtra, the Mumbai. Then names of streets, the Main Street, the Avenue Street. And names of lakes and bays, the Lake Geneva. Not like that. But you can use the with a group of lakes like the Great Lakes. Do not use the before names of mountains except with ranges of mountains like the Rockies, the Andes. Do not use the before names of continents. You cannot say the Asia, the Europe. Non-countable nouns referring to something in a general sense. You should not say if it is general. So coffee is general. You cannot say the coffee is a popular drink. You should just say coffee is a popular drink. But exception, the can be used with non-countable nouns that is more specific. That is coffee in my cup is too hot to drink. So here you're referring to the coffee in your cup. You're not generally talking about coffee. So here you can use the coffee. So some more examples of a and versus the. So I saw a dog in the street. The girls saw the big black dog on the other side of the street. Please give me a pen. Please bring me the black pen that is on my desk. I think she is a teacher from our school. I think she is the math teacher. Do you know if there is a post office nearby? Do you know where is the post office? So here is the practice session for articles. So a, an and the have been missing from this paragraph. So please pause the video. Just try to fit in the articles wherever is required. And then click. So as you can see, this is the answer for that. So George had a beautiful backyard, and in the backyard stood a tree which bore golden apples. These apples were always counted, and about the time when they began to grow ripe, it was found that every night one of the apples was missing. George became very angry at this and ordered the servant to keep a watch all night under the tree. At midnight, the servant saw an insect over an apple. That's the end of the session, guys. Hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you so much.